Hi, everybody. I'm Maggie.
I'm Drew.
And this is Heard Showcase. And speaking of not Heard, but Showcase, we just finished watching a fairly good live stream of
Yeah, they did well.
Luminous.
The channel that
Yes.
that did it. Shout out Resort TV 1 for your stream.
Thank you, because it actually was impossible to find one. Because
it was like being there. Apparently there was a lot of connection issues and whatnot with...
It's weird because Disney Parks blog didn't...
They didn't do it this time.
They didn't announce that they were doing a live stream, so which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, well, but I think...
Yeah, so tonight was the premiere of the new Epcot show, Luminous, the Symphony of Us. And we were pretty much waiting with bated breath for this show after they canceled Luminous.
Harmonious.
Harmonious. Correct. Because we loved Harmonious a lot.
In the minority.
A lot.
We were in the minority there.
Especially after seeing it live. We were very, very big fans. So we were curious to see what Luminous was going to have in store for us, especially because not much had been known. They didn't really share too much about it.
Yeah, unlike Harmonious, they kind of kept this one really close to their chest.
Yeah.
Gave us a little bit, but yeah, I'm struggling to find my thoughts on this.
Yeah.
First, I guess let's try to recap the show as best as we can. So they started with The Gathering, which in my opinion was probably the coolest part of the show. It was very much Illuminations-esque Epcot, where they went around the lagoon and each nation said welcome in their native language.
And as they said this, the cannon that is stationed at that country went off, and it was a really cool throwback to the original Illuminations.
So they really framed this show around experiences that everyone on the planet will go through.
Yes.
And what made it stand out a little bit better than Harmonious was how the narration tied the story together.
They had narration for the entire show, which was really cool. So you weren't trying to guess at what was going on.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me into the other point. You mentioned this while we were watching it. It was very much a return to their roots.
Yes.
No projections at all. It was very much...
It was just fireworks, just lasers, just fountains, and, obviously the cannons, which kind of goes along with the fireworks. But it was a very almost nostalgic kind of nighttime spectacular. It was kind of nostalgic, which was really cool.
So they basically, in 15-ish minutes, take you through the life cycle of a human, starting with birth. And this is where they started to phase in the Disney IP that we all knew was coming, right?
Well, actually, before that, their big thing at the very beginning was heart.
Yeah.
That the Symphony of Us are our heartbeats. And they were red, kind of flashing, blinking lights that were going in sync with the sound of a heartbeat over the narration, which was very cool. It really kind of drove home the I guess main theming of this show, which is honestly was pretty neat.
It was pretty cool. That. So yeah, they were big on your birth at first with the introduction of the IP music of You'll Be in My Heart, which was almost duet of English and...
Another language that we couldn't quite pick up on.
Pick up if it was just one language or they intertwined several languages. I'm fairly certain I heard Arabic in there. I'm not sure what else. I have to go back and listen again.
It was kind of hard to hear some of the music over the fireworks. Not anything wrong with Disney. It was just the equipment that isn't quite built for fireworks shows.
We didn't watch a Disney live stream. We watched somebody's live stream.
Which is fine. It was no fault of anybody's. I love her ears. Sorry, we still have the live stream going on, which is cool. The thing that got me with that first little bit was they gave the narration about birth and how, all our life starts at birth, and then you hear this little baby cry, and I was like, oh God, it begins.
So I know context is important. When I'm standing in World Showcase Lagoon in March with my 1.5-year-old,
yes,
we're probably gonna shed some tears there.
We're gonna just...
So it goes through that. It goes through birth and family, and each little segue has musical references, like finding your voice, and you start to play your instrument with other people and getting into the friendship section.
So it was You've Got a Friend in Me, A Friend Like Me from Aladdin.
Me, yeah. All the friends.
I thought there was something from Jungle Book.
Possibly.
I don't think there was. Maybe not. I think it was just those two.
And then...
So it's, making friends and learning to play together, not only just with, like, toys and imagination, but building that symphony as the theming is going, and, learning to play music together and be together.
They,
loved that. That was cute. They had lots of fun lights, which was really cute.
Of course, they did the romance section where you find your song becomes a duet, and they played. What do they play?
They did So Close from Enchanted, which, oh my God, thank you, Disney, because that is such a beautiful piece of music and a gorgeous song, and I'm so glad that they chose it, because it's so pretty, and I love that song. I love that movie, but I love that song.
I think that's the only song they used for that section.
I thought they used something else. Oh, it was Can You Feel the Love Tonight, I think, was in there, too. Which, of course.
And then the mood shifted, very somber, and talking about grief and loss. And
it's sometimes that it's inevitable that you have to play alone.
And you feel alone.
You feel alone, and you may lose part of the music.
And they did a really cool duet, I guess, for lack of a better term, of When Somebody Loved Me from Toy Story 2 with Remember Me from Coco, and I'm 90% sure that was in Spanish.
Or at least some of it might have been.
In Spanish.
But
and then
that was a beautiful, beautiful mashup, and I honestly, that's part that I can't wait to hear.
I can't wait to hear that in person, or with the better audio.
Yes, yeah. Again, no fault of anybody.
Right. This is just our raw reaction based on how we were able to see it tonight.
Yes, I would love to go back and
What?
watch
And then they kind of brought it back to this, like, you're not alone, and you have each other, and we all experience this, and we all can relate. And it was, segueing. First, they did the Frozen 2.
Yes.
It was like that call and response.
Yes.
I'm not going to try to do it because I barely have a voice. That.
And that was really cool, and it kept, like, building and building and building until, you come back. You're really not alone, even though you feel like you may be.
And that's how you use that song in a show, looking at Enchantment, of how they overused it and didn't have a vocalist that could do it. That segued into I See the Light.
My favorite part.
From Tangled, where they did a slight lyric change that I actually really liked.
And I loved it. I appreciated it.
Go ahead, it's your song.
It worked because instead of all at once, everything is different now that I found you, rather than I see you.
So it really did a good job of tying this narration together, and then it segued out into the final,
the final theme. There were like two themes.
The other OG song with the big finale at the end, where they did light the torches again. Which if you ever heard me talk about Harmonious, was they should have lit the torches at the end of Harmonious
way earlier than they did.
And they actually do that now here in Luminous.
One thing that we didn't mention is kind of sprinkled and peppered throughout.
I was getting to that.
Did I beat you to it?
Yeah.
Was the
Epcot
theme, the new Epcot theme that we absolutely loved.
What's her name?
It's the same.
I know, but I don't want to butcher her name.
Yes, the same composer. That was the word I was looking for. The same composer that did Harmonious, and did the new Epcot theme that doesn't actually have a name.
Just
it should. It's just the new Epcot theme. and I'm really glad that they used...
I'm sorry if I get this wrong. Pinar Toprak?
Toprak? Yes, I think so.
Apologies if I didn't get that right. But they incorporated that theme a lot, and you don't know this because you didn't watch the stream because you were out and about. They incorporate that theme a lot in the new Communicore Dreamers Point area, so you can hear it there as well.
Oh, yes, that was another big thing that happened today. The big things in Epcot today. It was a big day.
Yeah.
It was also Walt's birthday, so happy birthday, Uncle Walt. Yeah. I'm glad that Epcot could celebrate in a big, big way. The Communicore Gardens are open. The new Dreamers statue.
It looks really nice.
I cannot wait to see it all in person in March.
But getting back to Luminous, the show ends on that grand finale that you would expect from an Epcot show, which brings me, I guess, to the $1 million question: did I like it? And the answer is yes, but
I liked it. I'm curious to see it in person. I feel like obviously I'll like it better in person. You can only see so much in a stream. So,
understanding where Epcot is going, or has
some kind of fireworks going on,
or has gone, based on everything that's happened at D23s, what's gotten announced, what's gotten canceled, what's gotten to finally debut.
Yes.
They have always been transparent, they being Disney, have always been transparent to say, we are bringing Disney IP to Epcot. Mm-hmm. Like it or not, we are doing this. Given that context, the show is fine. Mm. Is it Epcot? Yeah, there's touches of it. The gathering bit in the beginning, very much Epcot. The overall theme, very much Epcot.
Yes.
But then as the music keeps going and it's more and more Disney IP done in original ways, they're not copying and pasting it from the film.
Yes, I am glad that they did that.
But
that they changed
it's starting to drift into a Magic Kingdom show minus Cinderella Castle. And that's where I'm struggling at the moment with it.
I think it would have been more of a Magic Kingdom-esque show if they had the projections, because I feel
Let me put it this way. Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
Take that show, put it in Magic Kingdom, it works exactly the same.
Yeah.
It works exactly the same.
It could, yes.
Minus, you could do the same heartbeat thing, you could do the same fireworks above Cinderella Castle.
Yeah.
That's where I'm struggling with it a little bit. It's a great show. It's good.
Can't wait to see it live.
Soundtrack-wise, I prefer Harmonious, if I'm being honest. On a first listen.
Yeah.
If I'm forced to pick, I'm picking the Harmonious soundtrack. That is more Epcot to me.
Yeah.
Giving these songs in their original tongue, which there was a bit of that here, to be fair.
Yeah. There was a little bit here and there, but it wasn't quite as focused as Harmonious was in that aspect.
You have the projections to thank for that, because then you have the Disney characters projected on these barges, which do not exist.
Original, in artwork.
Yeah, fine, but it's still Disney IP.
It is, yes. But, I appreciated the artwork that went in to those projections, because it wasn't just, clips from the movies. It was, puppeteering.
There was thought behind it, of course. But I guess I can phrase it this way. Take out the Harmonious barges.
Yes.
Keep the soundtrack. Mm. Keep everything else.
Yeah.
Put the soundtrack and the fireworks to the setup that's out there now, which is going to get wheeled out and in every night, just like Illuminations used to. Mm. I think that's a more Epcot show.
Yeah.
Harmonious.
I agree. I very much agree.
But, again, knowing that in the rare instance of Disney being transparent with guests, knowing that this is what's coming, this is fine. Mm-hmm. This is fine. I think it's going to win a lot of people over. I think everyone's going to be able to relate to it in some way, shape, or form, no matter what stage you are in life. Not sure where kids are going to land with that, honestly. That's I mean, you might be a young person who just lost a relative, or a teenager who is dealing with their first breakup because they didn't go to the prom with you or whatever. Yeah. So I think you can find that common ground, which is what Disney's after.
Oh, Epcot looks so pretty at Christmas time.
I don't want to say it's not Illuminations, because it's not Illuminations.
And that's not fair.
And it's not fair. And
Harmonious wasn't Illuminations either. And that's also not fair.
I'm sorry, Illuminations isn't as great as everybody touts it to be several years really after the fact that it's been gone.
I'm sorry, I keep looking up at this live stream, and it's so pretty. They're walking through Germany, and everything's so, like, lit up.
But seriously, go back and watch Illuminations, and tell me you're not bored in the middle bit when nothing's happening except you're on a circa 2000s monitor where you can't see.
No.
Which brings me back to Luminous, and another part that I did enjoy. They very much went back to no matter where you're standing in World Showcase Lagoon, you have a good view. Except if you want to view a Spaceship Earth, which they incorporate into the show, kind of a callback to Illuminations with the globe.
Kinda.
Do you have to be standing looking at it?
No.
Do
you have to see it to understand or appreciate the show? No.
Is it a cool touch? Yeah.
Definitely.
And where these people were standing, they were standing in Germany, so they had a great shot of the lagoon, kind of to their left-ish, straight on, and then to the right in the corner was Spaceship Earth. Yeah. So they got the best of both worlds. So for me, I like standing in the UK. I like standing in Canada. Probably would have an okay view of both.
Yeah, probably.
Depending on where we are on that last little bit of Canada. We're kind of where the stage is. Maybe not so much because you got that giant rock there.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I like that you'll be able to see it.
But they very much, it's very much, boom, center of the lagoon.
Which they kind of shot themselves in the foot with Harmonious with that, with those barges.
Remember the original idea before Chapek got ousted was this Communicore tower where you had a dead center look at these barges, which would have cost money to do. And they have scrapped that. So that is not happening. Yeah. So I think that is, in a way, giving back to the guests so that everyone is on the same ground. Then one has an advantage, which it kind of ties into the show.
Yeah.
I feel like we should kind of wrap it up. I kind of want this around 20 minutes. So, all in all, my thoughts on it, my last word on it is...
It's lovely. I'm very excited to see it in person.
For what it is, and what Epcot is now, based on what Disney's told us, this show fits into the theme that Disney told us it was going to be.
Yeah. And it's, like you said, IP is coming to the parks. IP is in the parks. Right. We already have Frozen. We have Ratatouille. We have, You
were supposed to have Mary Poppins in the UK.
We were supposed to. Will we get that? Maybe. Probably not.
They're moving on to other things. I think with the walls coming down, I think you can almost call this Epcot transformation done. I don't anticipate a lot more happening.
I'm very, very excited to go through Epcot and actually get to walk straight through. We're gonna go in March and not even recognize it. And this is our favorite park, obviously. Right. Like, look at our shirts and our tattoos. We're not gonna be able to recognize this park because the last time we were there, Moana wasn't there. Another IP.
Yeah, Moana.
And now the Communicore Gardens are there and open, and I'm very excited to see that, especially with the lit sidewalk.
Oh, I lied. They are doing one more thing. They're doing the test track overlay.
Oh, yes. They did announce that.
Going back to that World of Motion type of thing.
I'm curious about that. I'm curious about what they're going to do with that.
I think you're going to get the best of both worlds. If you remember the World of Motion attraction, you're going to get that, and then you're going to get some segue into and we're going to make things faster, and then you're going to go out down the hill and go through the thing.
That'd be cool.
I'm excited for that. Test track is what it is at this point. I think they're making the right decision to go this way because what Test track is right now is basically the Wish version of Tron.
Yeah, and I think
now that Tron's open,
with Tron being open, they're like, we gotta fix that. Change it.
But that's our thoughts on Luminous.
I liked it. It's pretty. It definitely tugged at the heartstrings. It's definitely gonna make us cry when we go see it in person.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
If I'm gonna give it a Christmas reference, just like Ralphie, it's a C+ right now. When I see it in person, when I see pro shots of it, when the audio is mixed better in the recordings, it might change. This is initial raw reaction based off a live stream.
It was a fairly good live stream. I'll give you guys props.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's fine.
Yeah. It had some nostalgia touches to it. It had newness.
Let me put it this way.
Kind of cool.
Am I going to sit there 3 hours before, maybe the first time.
Maybe.
But
depends.
It's I don't foresee it being like an Illuminations where you're gonna go and I just and there's so much now to offer at night at Epcot where in the past it used to be like, well, World Showcase is where you go at night.
Yeah, because everything else starts closing down.
Communicore Gardens at night is gorgeous.
I'm so excited. I kind of hope in this live stream in a little while, I kind of hope that they walk through it.
I'm sure they'll walk back out.
I hope so.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I think that's kind of sums it up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it in person. It was nice. It was pretty. It was lovely. It tugged at the heartstrings, which, I mean,
it's a Disney show.
It gets props for that because it's a Disney show. Whereas with Enchantment, I was kind of, all right.
Well, if we're comparing it to Enchantment, it's the greatest show ever. That's true. So, but yeah,
sorry to anyone who likes Enchantment.
Thank you all for listening. I think I'm gonna digest that. I'm probably gonna spend a good chunk of my day looking for pro shots of people that filmed it tonight and see if I can find a couple of my favorite streamers that typically film and see where my head goes as I watch it and listen to it more. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. We'll try not to do videos only when Epcot debuts a new fireworks show.
Yes, we really should. We really need to.
Maybe we'll just do a weekly thing. I don't know.
We've been talking about doing that for a while, and we just need to. We need to plan stuff out. That's the biggest thing.
Well, when you got a 1-year-old, planning anything else out is hard. Combine that with the holiday season. Combine that with our work schedules.
Maybe that'll be our New Year's resolution.
Yeah, we'll blow that. Looks like we blow all of our other resolutions. Alrighty. Well, thank you all. Have a good night.
And we're going to watch this live stream as they walk through Epcot during Festival of the Holidays with everything all lit up and pretty.
And in case we don't talk to you between now and then, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Blessed Yule, Happy Kwanzaa, and everything in between. So enjoy the holiday season, everybody. And
super cool Saturnalia. I don't know.
TTFN.
Ta-ta for now.